Hello friends and my lovely viewers. Welcome back to the channel of Prettiness. Today we will head back into the co-op dungeons of Throne and Liberty. I will guide you through the level 30 dungeon this time and give you my own tips and tricks of how to slaughter the final boss without being killed 1,000 times. Let's get to it.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. I'm tired of shit.
We focus on sticking with the group as we proceed in this dungeon. It is way better to teamwork rather than doing solo fights here, as the monsters can be pretty strong and all, especially if you're around level 30. But I assume we all know that by now. Once we finish off the remaining monsters, new sections of the dungeon become available. Make sure to glide down and not fall down like a wingless chicken, by the way, cause there are absolutely no cushions at the bottom of the cliff, and it can be a little bit embarrassing dying to the cold hard floor. So yeah, be careful. At the bottom of the cliff, we have a device called Mana Fluid Regulator, which can only be activated after all the monsters have been killed. So it is kinda similar to the level 20 dungeon, where we had to pull levers to open up new room sections. But in this dungeon, the monsters and devices are placed in the very same room. Anyways, once we use the device, lots of water-like mana substance starts to fill the room. It is kinda cool in my opinion, and fun to swim around in. This water allows us to enter another identical room section, which also has a mana fluid regulator device. And for a second time, we need our glide mode to prevent a painful landing. After we kill the monsters and activate the mana device again, we will have to face one more monster before we are given access to the next section. Oh, by the way, did I mention we have moonstones in this dungeon as well? I don't think I did, but they give us EXP as well as upgrade materials, which can be very useful. And if you're in super need of those materials, you need to be fast in collecting the moonstones, as each moonstone can only be obtained by one party member. After this monster is killed, the bluish barrier will be removed and we can proceed further. Okay, one last time we would have to glide past some dangerous, fiery stuff. We can technically go straight across, but I'm rather gonna show you a little safer route, which is by going to the side. You can do this if you're not very confident in your ability of avoiding those fire pillars. And doing this would also reduce chances of you becoming a Kentucky Fried Chicken while trying to glide across. There should be a fireplace up ahead, so if we by any chance got hurt during the gliding, we can recover the lost health there. This info may not seem very important at first, but if we were without the proper support this round, then it would be quite reassuring to know the safe spot is just up ahead. But don't get me wrong, this is not the final boss room fireplace. We still have a few more monsters to beat up before we can meet the final challenge of this dungeon. This section sometimes feels like an eternity, so I may speed up the video a little so we can get to the juicy stuff sooner. After defeating all of the monsters, we will come face to face with the gatekeeper of the final boss room. This gatekeeper has a skill that has a confuse-like effect, where our character would have a ball of darkness around the head, and we would lose control over the character's movement for a few seconds. But it is nothing major, to be honest. With a well-balanced strong team, this mini-boss usually doesn't cause problems to us. The bluish barrier will perish after we kill him, and behind this barrier lies the fireplace and resurrection area of the final boss. Now that we're finally ready for the big boss battle, we need to rest up our health and mana capacity before entering the boss room. So we all can sit by the fireplace if need be and rest for a moment. Like I said in the previous video, it is really important to wait for everyone to enter the boss room before we strike the boss, or else worst case possible will happen and team members would be locked outside of the boss room without being able to enter at all. When we enter the room, each of the DPS should align themselves with one of the chains. The reason for doing this, I will explain during the explanation of the chain mechanics. Once we are ready, we allow the tank to strike the boss first, and we try our very best not to get too close to the tank, I also personally prefer to stand either behind the boss or kinda at the left or right side of him. It is mainly to prevent getting knocked down by the boss. But for the short range type of DPS, I suggest to not stand directly behind the boss because of the tail attacks. And obviously do not stand in front of him. Instead, I would suggest you place yourself on either left or right side of him. Let's talk mechanics. This green circle we see here is a poison attack you can launch at 3 people at the same time. It is important to notice when we are the target and quickly move out of it. It can be kinda annoying when we are in the middle of throwing a skill, but it is better to either cancel the skill or launch the skill sooner so that we can prioritize saving our health. This is not a difficult effect to avoid, to be honest. Just remember, green may look good, but it is not a safe zone. Another mechanic of this boss is the fireball he can launch at one team member. He would target one random unlucky person and throw 3 fireballs simultaneously. There is absolutely nothing we can do apart from sharing the damage with each other, which is a way of not getting KO'd. So if you ever see someone getting stunned by the boss and attacked by fireballs, you can stand in front of him or her to take one for the team. We usually survive 2 fireballs, so by taking 1 fireball for ourselves, we prevent losing a team member to the fire. Now, the most fatal mechanic is this big red AoE attack coming from the boss. Each of the DPS should assign themselves to one of the chains when this happens and pull it. That will pour water onto the boss, which calms it down and cancel his ultimate attack. Sometimes you may get launched into oblivion when pulling the chain, so be ready to morph into a bird or something, just so you don't go splash onto the ground. I think I have covered the things that are vital for surviving the dungeon. One thing worth mentioning though, is the importance of having competent teammates. It can make a massive difference to whether we kick ass or get our ass kicked. Well, this is all for today's video. I hope my advices are helpful to your dungeon battles. Thank you for watching today's video. And if you want to show your support to the channel, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. You may also share this video with your friends if you want to. That all being said, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, stay foxy, adios, bye!